7 FM.
And welcome to Unity in Our Community. I have a very special guest today in the studio. I'd like to welcome the wild woman of the Wye, Angela. Thank you so much for coming down to the studio today to talk to us all about your campaigning to save the River Wye. So how are you today? First of all, let's talk about how you've got this wild woman of the Wye. Why are you the wild woman of the Wye?
Firstly, thank you for the invitation, Jess. It's good to be here. And I haven't got a clue how I picked up that tag, but maybe because I'm in the river all the time. I spend a lot of time below the surface. I've been swimming it 40-odd years.
Yeah.
And it's my business and my playground.
Yeah, so when you say your business, you do wild swimming with groups or?
Yeah, so I've been taking people wild swimming for a couple of decades now. And I take them kayaking, wild camping. My business has never been about growing. It's purely sharing the beauty that I love. And the environment that I love.
Yeah. And we were just having a chat and we were saying how magical it is to swim in the river. And you were talking about the salmon, and just tell us a little bit about some of your experiences, because I think a lot of people, they never will have experienced that.
So when you think of a wild swimmer, I mean, it's over 300%. It's increased in the last few years, but it's something that I've always done as a child. And I spend a lot of time below the surface, and I love being below the water crowfoot. And I like when the salmon come up to spawn, I go into the pools and I dive down, and I get a chance to be with those salmon and the eels. I monitor the eels. And it's just a wonderful world below that surface. And it was sweet. It was, the water tasted clean, the air. And then I sleep on the banks. I've got a bat detector. I monitor the otters. And I've always wild camped along the Wye and slept out. But you're so in tune with that river that you start to see the changes in it as well. And like I've got 2 children. They're grown up now. But I vowed as a mother to always be a guardian and protect my children. I feel exactly the same about the outdoors. It complements our health. So the least we can do is look after its health. Yeah,
I totally agree. And it is such a magical river that I and my son has enjoyed as well. Growing up around the River Wye and spending a lot of time swimming, especially with his friends in Bilth Wells, where the kids are always in the river, and it's a magical, sacred, I would say, the river, and for us to be in touch and close to nature and just feel that connection really with the land is really important. So what changes have you seen?
Well, it's been absolutely dramatic, really. I don't recognise the river that was once to what it is now. And like you said, it holds... I love the beauty of the Wye. It's 155 miles long, and it's inclusive to everybody. Everybody enjoys it and benefits from it. So I would say about 6 years ago, because, like not many others, I do spend a lot of time below the surface, and I started tasting it. It started changing, and I couldn't understand why. So then I thought, right, I'm going to stay out in this section tonight, and I'm going to see what's really going on. And we've got a big problem with intensive poultry farming.
Yeah.
And you can't call it farming. I farmed for years. My son is still a farmer. It's where, we have these big companies that have come over, and they have encouraged the farmers to put up these intensive poultry units. Then the manure is going on the land. That's getting washed off into our rivers. And that is absolutely decimating the whole, ecology of that river. And I was thinking, right, okay, well, it tastes different here. What has happened differently on this part of the Wye? Oh, right, okay, poultry farm's gone up. This is increased. And then certain sections where CSOs are, which is combined storm outlets,
I see.
they'd
Okay.
be pumping in sewerage, and that would happen through the night as well. So the data that I started collecting, and then I started sharing it, and then I was contacted by like Panorama, George Monbiot, made loads of different programmes about it because I see it firsthand. And also because there's no ulterior motive to what I want apart from bringing change. I say it as it is. And I'm dyslexic, so I've never read a book in my life. But when I started writing to the MPs and I was trying to show people what was happening through letter writing and things, it didn't work. And I felt really... One night I was lying on the banks and I was thinking, I'm losing my river. This was 5-6 years ago. What can I do? And then I thought, I feel bereaved. A bereavement is a death. So then it just pinged on me that if I get a coffin and I tow a coffin down the Wye, it's in everyone's faces to show, look, we are losing this river. We need to do something about it. And I was very much asked by many people to be quiet because of the publicity it would bring to the river and with tourism and local businesses and things. And I was threatened quite a lot as well.
Really?
Yeah, and abusive emails and things, just to quieten me down. And my thoughts are, if we all brought attention to what was happening, if we all monitored our river, change would come quicker and we'd bring more attention to it. And that definitely wasn't the thought of many people. So
yeah, because you feel kind of a bit helpless. You think, well, what can I do? And then you might walk your dog and you might just like look and you think, oh, it doesn't look the same. It's you can see the algae, or you can. It used to be like
smell it, or
it used to be absolutely crystal clear, like in Bilth as well. And it just makes you feel really, really sad and heartbroken. So there is stuff that we can do in our communities. And I know last night you were at, because I spoke to Kath, Little Storyteller, last week about the event you were at last night.
Yeah.
So what's happening in Cardiff area if people want to think, oh, what about the River Taff, or the rivers here as well?
Yeah. So the River Wye is my river, but also the Usk is on my doorstep. So I knew that the Usk was in big trouble. So 3 years ago, I set up a group there, and gradually, and now we've got 82 people, volunteers trained up to gather data. So I've got that group, and in the last year, I've set up 5 different groups, helped set up 5 different groups around the country. We can all do something. So the talk last night, I did say to anybody who's on the Taff, at any part of the country, we can all do this. So firstly, you need to get a meeting together with local people, as many as possible. And then I'm happy to come along and give a talk, show you what kit you need to be trained up in. It's very easy and simple to get this, this kit and to use it. And then that data is collected on an app on your phone, and then it goes into mainstream where scientists, universities look at it, and then I can shoot the bullets. I mean, all of we can do something. But in the last 10 months, I've been asked to speak in Westminster 4 times. I sit on the Brecon Beacons core group committee. I get out there, but because we've got data to back it up, it's okay doing a river clean or a beach clean, but if you can get that evidence, and it is so easy, if you go on the River Trust website, you can see where every sewage treatment plant is, every CSO. So when you're walking along the river or the coast, you can think, that foam, that doesn't look right, that doesn't smell good. So yes, please, we can all do something. We can start in our own homes by not putting wet wipes down the toilet or chemicals, and then we can get trained up and we can form our own groups. And because you don't have to reinvent the wheel, because I've managed to set it all up, I'm more than happy to come along, give a talk and help you to get your own group set up.
Wow, that sounds incredible. And like you said, to get the evidence makes a big difference.
It's key.
Yeah.
It's key. So, you know, towing the coffin down the Wye, that made people think. And then the next year, I had a massive box of eggs made up. And I towed this box of eggs down there, and instead of happy eggs, it said crappy eggs on it. And because, you know, we want to work with the polluters, we want to show them what they're doing, and we want to give them a chance to change.
Yeah.
The likes of Welsh Water, you know, we know they're huge polluters. I stopped paying my sewerage bill 3 years ago. I have an account with their name on, with exactly the right money in. But until they provide the service that they're supposed to, they won't get that. And I was asked to go to Westminster to give evidence that I collected on Welsh Water polluting our rivers and our seas. So they know they're doing it, and it's not about, it's underinvestment. So obviously, intensive poultry units on the Wye, you know, 24 million chickens. It's cheaper to buy a chicken than it is a coffee.
Yeah.
You need to be connecting with that land. You need to doing it properly. And Cargill, the big company who came over to the Wye, they decimated the Illinois River and killed the Illinois River. And now they've come over to our Wye to do exactly the same.
It's awful. We will talk more about this. We've got to get some news and ads on now, but we will come back after this and we'll talk more about the legal cases maybe that we can bring and, just more about this topic. So stay tuned and we'll be back after this.